MOSAIC is a pretty wild ride for 10 weeks.
I'm sort of on a mission to bring movement to these kids who I know are so ready to connect their body with their mind and with learning.
And guess what you get to do, Ship? You get to think about right now. Sink down as they go around you.
Well, this year's theme is poetry. And what's interesting is we're in the 9th year. So if you do the quick math, 9 plus 3 is 12. This year was the first year that original participants will graduate or be graduated from high school, which is a watershed kind of a moment for a project like this, to be able to service continually and consistently these classrooms with arts education.
Very good, okay.
This project in particular, we integrate the visual arts, and we try to bring the visual arts and help those enhance getting kids engaged in the dance. We're going to draw a picture and we're going to do a dance to the picture that was just drawn. Now you have a visual kid who now has a hook into the dance, a way to enter into dance in a way that's more engaging. And that's just an example of, I think, what we're trying to accomplish.
And now the wind. Now remember, the wind has to move through them without waking them up, steal through there.
Remember last week we started those giant pieces of paper with the Van Gogh wind on them?
That's the wind.
So we're going to need to finish our wind paintings.
Oh, that's cool.
Famous Japanese painter. You remember doing this watercolor paper last week? With the salt and the saran wrap. They're beautiful. They're really beautiful. So we've got to do our hokusai, our giant wave, our great wave collages.
And because there's water already on your paper, it kind of carries the blue around.
And I'm explaining all this here at the beginning of class because some people will finish faster than others. So you can just look up here and go, oh, okay, I can get started on a wind painting, or I can get started on my wave picture next when I'm finished.
It could be a whales on the water.
I think it was really nice. The first week what we did is we read them poems, various poems, including the one their class had chosen. And then we had them close their eyes and visualize, like what it would look like. And I think that was a really good exercise. It seems kind of abstract, but to me it makes a lot of sense, like all the connections. And poetry, just the lyrical part of it, and telling a story a lot of times, and very definite, visualizations pop into your head when you listen to a poem.
When I am angry, I can rave and riot. And when I am spent, I lie quiet is quiet.
We put it out there, and our intention is for them to make this connection. But it's almost immediate with this. So they would see the connection between the visual art and the word, and how you can use words to express, to describe artwork, and you can use artwork as an expression of inspired by words. So it kind of went both ways. And I'm sure Huther did something similar with dance. They're dancing, they're creating movements inspired by the words.
Nice undulations.
We are creating little stories based on the poems and then putting dance to these stories.
The worm undulates off and the bird flies behind it.
They are willing to explore, creating, turning a poem into dance. They're very willing and eager and sometimes quite excited about it.
Of course, the poem is called The Wind, right? I can get through a doorway without any key and strip the leaves from the great oak tree. Remember what we did for that? Can I have 3 people jump out there? And
Initially, I asked them, I usually get them working in groups of 5 or 6, and I ask them to come up based on a certain amount of material to come up with their own ideas for movement. And then I begin to get them to explore those movements and the quality of movements, and perhaps look at those movements from a conceptual approach, which is my style of teaching. I would say I'm a creative dance teacher that believes in teaching kids through concepts
twirling,
versus steps.
rolling, and jumping.
One thing I'm trying to do is not just have them literally portray certain things in the poems, but to go a little deeper and think about that type of movement. You know, what is the concept behind that type of movement?
Who wants to be the wind?
This creative approach to dance is to try to empower kids to have a feeling that they can create their own dances and in doing so, expand their notion of what dance is.
They seem to all love to be able to do one art form or the other.
In all these years, it seems to me that the kids really enjoy the whole experience. I've never seen a kid who just didn't want to do it. Never, in 9 years, and 200 kids per year.
We're interested in all the kids and getting them, trying to integrate their natural intelligence with this project, which ends up being on a stage with dance, but also with visual arts. And in this case, it also incorporates language with poetry. So, you know, as much of those things as we can, we do.